Hi friends, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and today we are looking at the new ADJ COB Canon LP200ST. So this is a fixture that it's interesting. It's been on my radar for a long time, sort of. So the ADJ COB Canon wash is an existing fixture that they've had around for a number of years. And people use them for a variety of reasons. They're kind of like a par. They're a par type fixture in that they shine a pretty wide bunch of light. And you can see we're going to fade through some different stuff here. But they also give you lenses. So you can pop these lenses in front of them, like this is the 50 degree, and there's a 40 degree Fresnel lens as well as just the clear, which is 80 degrees. And you pop the lenses in, and you get a really nice soft light. So what are these really geared towards? Ultimately, I think these fixtures are geared mostly towards being used as house lights, okay, on a budget. And the COB Canon wash wasn't always my favorite. It wasn't my top choice for a house light a lot of the time, because even though you could do a lot with it for the price, it just kind of lacked in color quality, and so I didn't recommend it for that reason. The LP200ST, boy, that's a lot of numbers and letters, gets that right, and here's why. As you'll see, we're going through the different colors here in our animation. Right now, we're on a nice neutral white. It looks really nice. I grabbed my color meter and I was able to verify a higher than 90 CRI out of it. But more important than CRI with LEDs is just the overall color quality. So as we look through these colors, we can see, first of all, they fade really nice, okay? All of the color channels can be set in 16-bit. Meaning that you really don't get steppy dimming, things dim really smoothly. It dims to 0 and fades between colors really nicely, okay? So we've got this warm white here, and we've got, pointing at the wall, what they call an 80-degree angle, okay? Now, beam angle on these, at least, I didn't measure the current one. I could get out the tape measure and figure it out. But on the previous model, and I assume it's the same here, the beam angle is around 50 degrees, the field angle is around 80. So what you get out of this beam is you get a bit of a hot spot in the center, then you get a pretty broad range of a fairly bright area. And the hot spot is not overly pronounced, it's there. And then as you hit the edge on the standard 80-degree lens, you can see it, you should be able to see it against the wall there. As you do hit that outside edge, I'm going to walk over there, and you get into this area, you start to get a little bit of funkiness where there's just a little bit of inconsistency. It's not the smoothest, most perfect edge you've ever seen, but it's not bad. It's really quite good. Again, you know, adding the Fresnel lens, yeah, it improves it a lot. But as I'm sure you can see on the video there, without lens, with lens, you do lose a lot of light with these tighter lenses. So who is this good for, and why should you be thinking about this fixture? Well, physically, you know, it's a good fixture. It's well built. It is convection cooled with a fan, so the fan kicks in temperature controlled. That being said, I've had it running this sequence for at least half an hour now. I've not heard a fan kick on, and I've had it at full for a while. I've had this kick on. It is 80 degrees in here Fahrenheit, and so that tells me that these fans are not running that much with these fixtures, which is a good design. With house lights, you really want to stay away from fans, but if you gotta have them, you definitely don't want them to run all the time, because if that fan dies from running all the time, which it will eventually do, then your fixture's gonna die. These I would feel pretty comfortable in a long-term environment, knowing that when the fixture's not on, or when it's not at full brightness for an extended period of time, that fan's not running at all. It's just hanging out. Okay, it's nice and short. Before they had the COB Canon wash, which was about this long, and the ST. The lime version, forgot to talk about colors. So as we scroll through the colors here, you can see that this fixture is red, green, blue, amber, lime. Okay, now lime and amber work together and they pretty much make white on their own, and you can add in some red, green, and blue to get a nice white like this. Okay, and so what lime does is there's a peak in green in the way that our eyes pick up color. Adding lime LEDs increases the color quality, makes things look more natural. So they don't need the white LED because they have the lime and amber. Those two work together to make really nice whites. Color brightness is good for sure. You know, it doesn't feel like the colors are overly dim. There's enough punch there. So you can use it as a house light or a stage light, though I think primarily you're going to use these as a house light. In the box, you get a nice PowerCon cable, which the one that this one shipped with has a cool, it's got a black boot on the back. Okay, we'll show you that close. And the cool thing about the back being black is sometimes with house light fixtures, you've got this plugged in, right? And it's up in the air. And sometimes when you're looking up at it, you can see like the top of this blue, and it's kind of annoying, right? With this guy, not the case. It's got a PowerCon input and throughput, which is super nice. And it's got DMX3 and 5-pin jacks. Overall, build quality is, you know, it's not a super rugged unit, but it's not super cheap either. It's reasonable for what they're asking. The menu has mode. The enter key is labeled setup, which is a little funky, but whatever, and up and down. The screen is super small, but you probably won't use it much if you're installing these as a house light. So, end of the day, what's the conclusion on these guys? Okay, the LP200ST is a good contender for a budget house light. I always get wary recommending fan-cooled fixtures for house lights, but we've got enough history on the previous model as house lights where I've seen these installed a lot of places, and you know, 3-4 years down the road, people aren't complaining about it, which tells me that the internals are good. They're putting good electronics in these that are going to last the test of time. Again, I always get nervous having a fan-cooled fixture. There, it finally kicked in. But I have to get really close to it and really listen to hear it. So I don't like fan-cooled fixtures for house lights because A, the noise, you know, you get 30 of these in a room, the noise really builds up. But with this, that's really not a problem. I don't always love moving yokes for house fixtures. That's because they also want to make it a stage fixture, a par that you can use. That's not my favorite, but again, you know, not insurmountable at all. Overall, you know, light quality is good. Color quality is really solid. I don't love the edge, again, of the 80-degree lens. There's just some steppiness, some awkwardness in it. And the 80-degree lens is probably not truly 80 degrees. That's going to be your field angle. Beam angle's a little bit less. So is it my top choice for house lights? Probably not. But for the price that this is at, and the color quality you get out of it, I think it's a really great buy. If you have the money to spend on more of a dedicated house fixture that's going to cost a little bit more, then that may make more sense. But at the same time, it's hard to beat the value that you're getting out of this fixture. So if you're interested in the LP200ST, my goodness, can they not name it something different? If you're interested in it, come ask us at Learn Stage Lighting Gear. We actually have a house light calculator on our site. We'll link to that below, and also to the page on Learn Stage Lighting Gear about this fixture. It's definitely a great buy. It's not for everybody, but I think there's some situations where it's a really good fit as a budget house light that I really do believe will stand the test of time and be a good fixture. Is it the best quality in beam? That's the one place where I feel like it falls short a little bit, but there's nothing else at its price point that does as good of a job at what it does. So there's that, right? Thanks so much for watching. Check it out at Gear. If you have any questions, of course, let us know either via our quote request or our contact form, and we'll help you decide if this is the best fixture for you or not. Meanwhile, subscribe here if you haven't already, and we will see you guys in our next video. Thanks.